Okay, everybody's quieted down, so it's 7 o'clock. We'll call this January 2026. Hard to believe. Meeting to order, 7 o'clock. Roll call.
Hanneman.
Yep. Here.
Here.
Yeah.
And we have a full board, and you want to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to agenda approval.
We're going to make some corrections to that. So the gentleman from American Video Transfer is not coming tonight due to the weather. And we are going to, we're going to move the Relay to Digital up to try to give a update since the last meeting. Dan Kabaj is stuck in traffic, hopes to be here by 7:45. Mike is going to do what he can on his end. Tom a little bit if you have anything to say. We're going to do that. Then we're going to get citizens' comments. We're going to take all your comments. Are we going to do 30 minutes?
30 minutes
of comments, 2 minutes each. If there's actually a question, we're going to do our best to try to write that down. Answer your questions after that. Instead of, go back and we're going to try to answer all your questions at the end. If you don't have an answer to your question, and we need to get that answer, your question along with your answer will then end up on the website. We are working on trying to get stuff implemented on that for updates as well. So basically, that's the corrections to the agenda. Is moving related digital update to number 6.
Okay. Entertain motion to approval.
Support. Motion support.
You said support. You second it?
Yep.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Consent agenda approval.
Second.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Moved and seconded.
Jen's making the motion. Who's?
I made a motion and then.
Jen and Dean.
Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, now,
Mike was gonna. You gonna start?
Sure. So just to give some brief updates on the data center project. My name is Mike Auerbach with Carlisle Workman Associates, the township's planning consultants.
Oh, hang on, Mike. What, you can't hear who?
I just wondered why the microphones aren't set up, because it gets hard to hear back here when people are shuffling papers and such. Can we
well,
I can turn this way for starters.
yeah, turn that way.
Yeah, it takes some time to set up the microphone, does it not?
Yeah. You want to stand up?
Sure. My name is Mike Auerbach with Carlisle Workman Associates, the township's planning consultants. I'm not on the data center site every day, but I do work with the township engineer, Dan Kabaj with Police and Vandenbrink. Either him or someone from his firm is on site every day, and so can give more of a comprehensive update than I can. But since the last meeting, some of the items that have come to the township's attention are dirt being tracked onto US 12. And I know that the township has raised that issue with the developers, along with Washtenaw County Soil Erosion Control. And there's been measures that have been outlined that they'll need to put in place to minimize that issue. So that's something both the township and county are working to address. We've also had some reports of trucks using roads other than US 12, which they're not supposed to. So again, both the township, primarily the township, has been recording which contractors are doing that and working with developers to make sure that doesn't happen going forward.
Just to add to that, I talked to the road commission and they're on it too.
Okay. Right.
Washington
Good.
County Road.
Yeah. For those who couldn't hear, the road commission's monitoring that as well. And lastly, I know we're looking at getting signage in place on US 12 at Willow and McCullough, at least, just reiterating the requirements for truck traffic. They can't be using roads other than
They
12.
need for that, please.
That's okay. And that's the at least summary of what's been going on since the last meeting.
Who will follow up to add Case Road?
I think it's okay.
It's on the report.
It's on Dan's list. There'll be more when Dan gets here on the data center, stuff and traffic.
Okay, well, I think I caught the gist of that pretty much there. You said as far as the mud coming out on the road and everything, that was kind of addressed with Washtenaw County Soil and Erosion. And I guess, you guys could reach out to them directly if you thought there was another issue with anything. They're the ones that oversee that with the county. I did get an update from DTE. I think that they wrapped up their project along 12. I think maybe in the middle of February they might be doing a little more work for one day or something, but they could be there again. The truck traffic on the back roads, that has been addressed quite a bit. I mean, first there was a grain violation that came in and out on Brown Road over there, and we talked to Rawbridge, and I think we got that taken care of. The trucks, the gravel trains that were going down Case Road, they were with OKD, I believe, transport. Walbridge has gotten a hold of Blaze and also with Dan's and gotten I think all the drivers are signing an affidavit saying, you can't use these back roads and stuff. And I would encourage anybody that sees trucks on these back roads to get a picture or something like that so we can really nail it down to who the particular company is that's violating the agreement and the driver. I think it was very helpful. Levi got some video of them using Case Road here. And also, me and Levi did go up there that day and do a little drive around of the site up there, just to kind of, visual confirmation of all the things that we've been talking about. I don't know if you talked on the monitoring wells at all, but I think they're going in next week. I didn't see any signs of any water usage or anything like that at this time, but I think the permits have been approved, and I think that's on the docket for next week. Other than that, I think that's about all I got there, I guess.
I guess we can move on to citizens' comments since Dan's not here, but he might be able to cover some of, he might be able to cover some of the questions.
If he gets here, Dan can give more updates at some point during the meeting that can address some questions that come up here.
Okay. So
You want to wait on it or just?
I mean, I
Skip over it, come back.
Yeah, I think I'll come back with Dan's here. He's more active with the Dan there, so.
he needs to go over the citizens' comments until Dan can give his update.
And I think, we had talked about a third-party inspector and stuff there, and I think we're gonna hash that tonight too. So.
Okay.
Maybe there is
There are citizens' comments, but
Okay.
Hello?
Moving on to the rezoning.
Yep. So this.
Skip citizens' comments for the time being.
All right, so this item is just a matter of some updates to the official zoning map. As the township's aware, the map needs to be updated to reflect two rezoning approvals that the township made the last few years. The first is Angelina Farms, which was approved in 2019, and the second is rezoning of 15 properties along Macon Road from A1 to R3. The Planning Commission held hearings on both of those rezonings. The board subsequently approved them, but the map hasn't been updated. There also needs to be a notice published after any rezoning or map or ordinance text amendment gets approved. So even though the township already approved these rezonings, this is just reaffirming those past decisions. And then the suggested motion we have is to direct the clerk to publish that notice as required by the Zoning Enabling Act, just announcing that those decisions were made. This also, the third item would be to update the zoning map to reflect the consent judgment. As everyone's aware, the Washtenaw County Circuit Court ordered the data center site to be rezoned I-1, and that it is zoned I-1, so this action would just update the zoning map to reflect that.
Riverside Lane is unwell.
Yeah, it would. So the board had already approved that
Right.
change. Yeah, so it just would update the map to reflect that.
Because we had already done that.
Everything's already gone through board approval and everything, it's just strictly,
I wasn't aware it was supposed to put a notice in the paper,
no,
so,
okay.
we just have.
Things happen, people are keeping us on our toes, that's for sure. Okay, I'll make a motion to reaffirm the board's July 2019 approval of the Adelina Farms to become planned unit development. And then also the board's April 9th, 2025 approval of rezoning the 15 parcels along Macon Road and Riverside Lane from A1 to R3. And to rezone related digital center properties from A1 to I1 as ordered by the Washtenaw County Circuit Court, and to direct the township clerk to update the official zoning map and publish corresponding notice of adoption.
I'll second that.
And that's been moved and second. Any other discussion? You good there? Good. Any other discussion?
Everybody hear that? I should have used the mic, I'm sorry.
Yeah, is everybody able to still hear that? Okay. We need
Motion, second it, so now we can vote.
I know, do we need we don't do a roll call, okay. Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. Ready, Kelly? Move
Yep.
on to ZBA appointment. We have to Zoning Board of Appeals has to have a member from the Planning Commission on there, and we're moving Mary Gupta on to replace Jen Zink.
You need a motion for that, then?
I think so.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we appoint Mary Gumpo to the zoning board and that's her.
And, yep, Jen is the alternate.
Yeah.
Jen, you're still the alternate. Okay, that's moved and supported. Any other discussion?
No, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You got any comments?
No, I waved her up here.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we will swear her in right away.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Zoning Board of Appeals in and for the township of Saline, County of Washtenaw, and the state of Michigan according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you.
moving on to, supervisor report, sheriff's report. I talked to them today and, there's nothing earth shattering to report for, the township there, and, Adelina, we've gotta wait for Kabaj on that. And, data center is all,
Okay. Okay. He's got a personal matter.
the, that, yeah, I know. The data center has been pretty well covered there with time, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll bring it up again, I'm sure.
Say what?
They will bring it up again when Dan gets here.
Oh, okay, good idea, good idea. Denver Energy, I had no update there.
Well, Jen, you and I were on Zoom today.
Yes, we were on Zoom today.
Brett's not up here. Basically, a judge has ruled.
Can you use the mic?
Oh, sure. I don't know, Jen, you don't have to, I don't know if I had it already.
I know.
Basically, a judge has ruled that all of the documents from, I'm still calling it Eve Energy, but Washington All Solar, that have been filed, are considered protected
Yes.
and not public. So the attorney we hired tried to,
Make it transparent.
make it transparent so that the documents could be made public to everybody.
I'm sorry.
You can't hear me? I was trying to keep it
Yeah.
for both of us, because we were both on the meeting since Fred
So
isn't here right now.
here. No, but they tried to make the, so even energy or, yeah,
Washington Solar.
Solar was trying to hide, to not make the documents public. Which our lawyer came back and said, no, we need them to be public. We don't want them to not be,
They needed to be available for everybody, but the
Yes.
MSCP said no. So we have to make an appeal by Friday, or we let it be and try to, just do what the purpose was, is to try to stop the project. But we have asked them to at least make, our objections by Friday, because we still can move forward with an appeal to get the documents. But it has to go back in front of the MSCP.
Can we, is there anything the citizens can do to affect that decision that you're aware of? I mean, if we put public comments in or do any of that stuff, does it affect it?
It didn't sound like it.
so it sounded like the lawyer said, these are Gretchen's people. They've already.
They're appointed by her.
They've already made their decision, so for us to go now and appeal.
It's like they had their decision made
It already-
before
yes.
it wasn't really an appeal, but it was, he didn't use the word appeal. Basically, they went back at them and said that it should be public records, it should be transparent for everybody. And they said no, the MSCP said no, they're upholding what the judge ruled. Current, but we can make, he called it appeal at first, but it's really just objections
And objections,
by
yes.
Friday.
Yes.
So that's what they're gonna work on. They're working on, experts, in different fields. They're supposed to send us proposals on that. That has to be turned in by February 27th, I think it was.
Yes.
For experts, for when this actually does go to court. So I think that was really, it was really, do we want them to try to get these documents, or do we wanna let it be since the judge already made the ruling and the CP, he made their ruling, and we said, yes, let's try one more time. So that's what they're gonna do.
And thank you. Moving on, trustees report.
Well, our planning commission meeting we had there last week there, pretty much the only thing I think we really had on it was the event bar. We kicked that around forever, tabled it again for another month. The next meeting will be February 3rd. I guess I will also touch on maybe the training, I think.
Let's do talk about the master plan, the joint meeting.
Yeah, talk about setting something up amongst everybody for the training for zoning and custom.
Yeah, so we've got some dates. I did hear back from everybody about dates for the training. And also for the master plan meeting, and that'll be another joint meeting, public with the planning commission and board. It sounds like the Thursday the 19th will work best for everybody. So if that works for all of you, then we could go
This
ahead.
is Thursday, January 19th, just to
Oh,
clarify.
sorry, February.
Or February,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's at 6.
February 19th, yeah, at 6. And the purpose of that meeting will be to talk about the scope of the master plan update and what sort of, what the project and process should look like, what sort of public engagement you'd like to see as part of the process, and also what topics you want to focus on.
Other than that, I mean, I guess I'll go right into the zoning. I'm not sure. I thought maybe I'd touch on Jupiter a little bit there. They always give us bi-weekly updates. That's the battery energy storage place there on 12. They've got the road driveway put in. They put up a couple of gates for security purposes there, just when they're not on site working. And they pretty much got the permit to bring in the trailers for temporary construction trailers. But other than that, that's about it. They're moving some dirt. And I guess that's it. That's all I got.
Fire board, we didn't have much there, did we?
I think I sent out the articles of incorporation to everybody. I don't think we want to vote on it or anything tonight. I think going over it, see if there's any changes in it and stuff that we'd recommend that we could do. I think it's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, I think, Fred's really more of the attorney, because we're going to have the attorneys review all of this moving forward on it. So I think, I don't think you guys had a chance to look it all over.
I know we should wait for Fred, because Fred's our,
Yeah, he's the legal representation.
he is the attorney on the fire board.
Right, but I mean, the gist of this would be all municipalities, five of us.
Yeah, well, it'd be
Living on
four
the-
of us.
Sorry.
So we'd all enter into an agreement and become, right now, it's our fire department, it's the city of Saline Township, York, and Lodi. And we all own that. Oh. We all have that together. And the purpose of this is to create an authority. We would still have the same voices on the board and everything. It would just streamline things a lot more. I think I got this sheet I was going to give to you guys. It would make it easier for grants and stuff. So there's funding available through the state for equipment upgrades and things like that. It would be more easily to apply for and receive. And there's a list on here of a few other things that would definitely benefit it. Stuff like that. And this is the first step of becoming an authority.
Because with them having the authority, then they can set the millage rate for the
Correct.
taxes.
Yep. And that could vary. I mean, if the board votes on it to levy a millage against everybody, we'd all pay the same millage then, in all the municipalities that I listed. It wouldn't be like right now, we all paid 1 mil. And that goes, Jen can correct me if I'm wrong there, but that goes into our budget for covering the fire department, our portion of the budget.
Not all, yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
about, we collect about 250,000 less
Yes.
than what we collect
So then
from
the
the
township ends up.
I mean, what we have to pay out.
Yeah, so a lot of that, the extra money we pull out of our general fund or wherever to cover our expenses of the approved budget from the fire department. And so if this were approved, this is one avenue that we could take to levy a millage against everybody. So every municipality would pay the same rate. And it would take it out of the townships, our tax roll, that 1 mil would go to that.
Cover that.
Yeah.
So
Now
would to be through the October
My
too.
only concern with that is Saline Township having the battery storage come in, they've gotten, the fire department has gotten that. Now with the data center coming in, they're supposed to be getting funding from that. I feel that our township has gone above and beyond.
Yeah.
So that is why I just feel that maybe Saline Township should not have to pay a fire tax if this,
Mm-hmm.
The way I read this, you don't know that everybody has to be in it to make it go.
This has got to be a unanimous vote.
This does, okay.
Yes.
Because it was a
Yes,
little
it has.
confusing about, when I read this as far as.
Yeah, this has
the
got to be unanimous
cooperating and
vote.
the
And
incooperating.
I'll leave the lead on, Craig, are you back there yet? Is that correct? Okay, yeah, so I think, it had to be unanimous.
Okay.
And I do understand the funding portion of it there. I think, the fire department, there's been, you need a lot of upgrades and everything over the years. We've talked about it many times, and we're probably gonna see a bump in our millage that we pay now. Granted, the funding coming in from the related project, and that is gonna help out. I mean, they're getting some property there, a couple of pole barns for storage and stuff on the battery facility. And of course, then the money coming in from the data is gonna be pretty much strictly for equipment. 7 million, I think, like a fire truck's over 2 million. It's, it'll get absorbed fast. But at any rate, this is the beginning steps of becoming an authority. And we all need to, kind of review it, go through it. I think we're looking for adoption probably at the next meeting.
Can I ask you a couple questions? When this was first discussed at fire board meetings, I understood that it would be the authority that would be levying the taxes, and not each individual township. That's number one. And then number two, in the initial discussions, the amount that each township or each jurisdiction would pay was going to be directly related to their taxable value base, so that it wouldn't be the same by all four. It would be staggered based on the taxable value,
Yeah.
which is a public record.
And that would not change. We still have, our value will be off of our adjustable taxable value. So Jen can tell you, we have a tax number, and then the adjustable taxes are parcels that don't pay taxes and stuff. So that would be what that number is determined on. Now, that would, change every year according to that tax number. As far as the millage, I think was what your first question was there. You're saying levying against that would be something that was proposed by the authority against all municipalities.
Right.
And that would be on the ballot. It wouldn't be, it would be all put up to vote amongst all of us. It wouldn't be, this is what you gotta pay. It would have to get voter approval.
What happens if one or all jurisdictions vote that millage down?
Then we would have to readjust the budget for the fire department, and we would still revert back to what we're doing now. Yeah, so there is a fallback plan to that. We don't live and die on that hill, I guess you could say. And like I said, I think Fred there, he's much more versed in this and stuff with the documents and everything, but I think everybody's got a printout or whatever. Any recommendations? I guess we'll make them changes.
I will, I don't know, do we need Fred to add anything? Here, everybody take one of these. These are the pros and cons of becoming like an authority.
who came up with these? Who came up with the pros and cons?
Fire chief did.
Fire chief, okay.
Quite a while ago, actually.
Oh,
We've been
okay.
talking about this for quite some time. I just thought it'd be interesting. I printed them out tonight, and I thought it'd be good to have everybody see it.
Okay.
But no, this is a big deal, and I think having everybody on board. I know we have an alternate now, Chris Bolter. I think he's a good voice too, and understands more of the ins and outs of the public service up there, because he was a police officer and stuff. So we'll probably be leaning on him pretty hard too. So
don't think he's here tonight.
I see Dan.
I think it is, isn't it?
Lodi and York Township got a lot more people in it.
Yeah.
They're gonna get a lot more money coming from them people. Do we gotta make the difference up if we don't pay what they do or no?
No, I think, you know, our percentages right now, we're at like 12% or something like that. Okay, and then, Lodi or City of Saline or whatever, I think they're one of the bigger, they're all quite a bit. I think York's 20-some% or something like that. And the others are around 30, that's just off the top of my head. But yeah, but it goes off, it doesn't really go off of population, it goes off the taxable. So the adjustable taxable number, you know? And that's gonna change for us. Because with related coming in, that punches our number up there. They're gonna come on the tax roll. So them percentages are going to be leveled out a little bit more, even though we don't have the population.
Yeah.
You know, so there is a effect of it.
How do tax incentives that through the state affect what they would pay for our fire board?
So, say that again?
Like-
So they want to apply for tax incentives related digital,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
state is offering those tax incentives.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is
it's like
what's
a
made
50,
our
a
state.
50%
Yeah.
So
reduction.
how would that affect our fire
Well,
board
we'd get the
monies?
50%, yeah. But if it, go ahead.
I would say the numbers that were discussed through like these, a lot of these meetings, or maybe not every one of them, is based on their 50% tax rate.
It
Yeah.
is based, okay.
And if, you know, this project, you know, for whatever reason gets stalled out or whatever, then let's just stay the way we are. I mean, anything that's in the township is going to have an effect on our taxable value.
Does the township have the ability, with related digital coming online and more revenue being collected because of taxes, if costs are shared at that higher level across all households, then everyone's tax is gonna go up because of that. Can the township separate related digital in their income and taxes and everybody else? And have two different rates?
I do not believe so.
Back, planning commission, Jerry, did you have anything to add?
Nope.
Everything good?
I think I did say the next planning commission meeting is February 3rd, right? Is that
Yes.
right? I did
Yes.
write it.
Yep.
But I guess I'd like to come up, you know, we get Fred back in here to go over this again, because he's the one that kind of helped draft this up and everything.
Yeah, because I don't want to say it's confusing, but I'm not an attorney, it was obviously, but it talks about, once this is established, I think people can withdraw it. You have to withdraw it, you
There's
can't
a
do it
process.
for 12 months.
Yeah, there is a
So-
process for that.
He is the fire board attorney.
Yeah, so he comes back in here.
Go to Dan?
Why don't you just finish that, and
Finish
then
this
we'll
up.
go back to Dan and discuss his comments.
Okay.
Fire board, we've done there. Township health. Mary,
Oh,
your turn.
thank you.
Have anything?
I can flip the switch on it.
I'm Mary Gumto, and I'm the Saline Township Recycling Coordinator. And I'd like to provide a recycling update for 2025, wrap up 2025, and then talk about, ask the board some questions for 2026. Starting out, we applied for and were awarded a Washtenaw County Waste Reduction Grant, and for our township cleanup, which we have once a year now, and that was held in September.
The township total cost for the September 13, 2025 cleanup was $7,770.88. The Washtenaw County Waste Reduction Grant that we were awarded was issued on November 28, 2025 for the amount of $4,665. So in the end, for our township cleanup, the township paid $3,105.88. And also with our recycling, the bin out here, I can't remember, did we do it twice? Where they didn't pick up and they were late, and I think they did it twice. And we were refunded monies. So the other one was probably in the spring. They have staffing problems. Anyway, on November 15, 2025, the township received a refund of $199 for delay of service by Republic. And it was like the second or third time in like 4 weeks that they did that. So
we did get a refund.
Oh yeah. The other one was for $300 and some, but they wouldn't give us that much the second time. Oh, I tried. And then planning for 2026. Number one, does the board support a township cleanup in 2026? That's my first question. And if supported, the Washtenaw County Waste Grant is due in February. So we have just really maybe 4 weeks to work on it. It must be submitted before by the end of February. And the grant is a little bit different this time. It's not unusual once people get accustomed to receiving grant monies that they incentivize those grants and make things more difficult. So some of the things we cannot do, I cannot promise that we'll receive $4,600 again next year, but if the board would like, I would like to work with Jen and Kelly, whoever wants to work with me for another grant, if the board approves going forward with that project.
It's still with Washtenaw County.
It's still with Washtenaw County, right. Well, one of the things they're opening up is you can invite anybody from Washtenaw County. We don't have that kind of real estate. We cannot do that. And nor can we on a hill safely block the roadways that way. So that is not what, you get so many points for doing these different options. I don't want to accept hazardous waste. Again, we don't have a setup to have trucks come in, and however they would do that, it's kind of like making your local township cleanup a county cleanup. So I know we cannot do all those things, but we can accept appliances. We can, I think, continue to do what we're doing. We count tires. I think we have to stay the same way, and we may not, again, receive as many monies, but we're doing it if that's what the board would like to do.
I don't think we need a motion or anything.
I don't think
But I did, yes.
Okay. And is there a date that you have, that you recommend? Have you had feedback from folks?
I'm saying, did you get any feedback? Because we've had
I
fall the past couple times, maybe people rather like the spring or.
I mean, we can move it, but no, I have not had any requests.
Because we've decided just to do one cleanup for a year.
It drops off the last hour. We're kind of kicking at the rocks and.
Do we want to try a spring date maybe, just to see, because we've done the past 2 years just the fall.
Did we switch it to the fall because of planning season, that we weren't getting as many?
It's very difficult for many residents to come during the planning season, and I've had it really early, and it was snow. It was April, and it snowed, and that was a muddy mess, and people weren't happy about that. The trucks got dirty. We all live on dirt roads. I don't know. But that was filthy. That was a filthy thing. And I can, people can contact me and give me, or people can say tonight, I'm open for, but June is kind of late. And it's hot out.
I'm fine with either. We've done it for fall the last couple of years. You think people are getting used to the fall?
fall.
Okay, I'll look for September again. Okay, thank you.
Oh, good one.
I thought you were gonna bring up the lawn.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
recommended by
with
the
the,
president.
I talked to Beth Music there and about the cemeteries and stuff. Talked about some more trees or whatever that need to come down. She also brought up putting out the mowing for bid. So if anybody wants to submit a bid for mowing the township cemeteries and the town hall here.
I'll put something in the paper.
Okay. I don't know if we need to structure it as far as how they do it. Like the number of mowings and stuff, I think is always part of their bid, isn't it? They do it like so many times, but then if there's additional mowings, because, you know, some summers are dry, some are wet. It probably varies according to the bid, so if anybody has any.
Did Beth talk to you about the tree stump?
She didn't say nothing about stumps. She told me about a tree that was like a meter long. It wasn't very big. I told her I'd cut that off. But,
Okay.
yeah, she didn't say nothing about those stumps, but
Okay, we had talked about it, but then with April coming, you know, and the budget resets, so she was just gonna wait till then, I think.
Okay. Well, I have no be your turn, Mr. Kabak.
Yes, sir. What topic? Data center?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
I'm
can.
gonna turn around so they can.
Oh, yeah.
You want
Yeah. In fact, yeah. Tom, if you want to do that.
Yeah, Dan, Tom and I gave a quick overview of what's happened over the last month,
Okay.
but I think the plan is to open up the meeting for public comment, and then we'll record any questions that come up, and then afterwards, if you can address them, you can do that after public comment.
Of course.
But we already covered trucks, dirt being tracked into the road, and signs.
Very good. What I'll do then is, most of those items, what I did want to talk about. We had a progress meeting with the contractor. I don't know if we've got any contractor reps here in Walbridge. Let me recap just some of the things we talked about. I think, Mike, Tom, if you've talked about the mud tracking, there's been some items that we've called the attention of the contractor and related digital to fix. We've had some complaints on those. Walbridge did get on those right away. We did have the mud tracking on one day. The next day they shut down the site so that they could properly take care of the issue, what was taking place and bringing in the mud onto the road, heavy truck traffic. One thing that we did learn from the progress meeting, we are getting upwards of, I'd say, over 250 trips of trucks daily that's been taking place. One other thing that I will say, monitoring well installation, that was one of the items on the consent judgment to have in place. Originally, we were provided a plan that had 4 monitoring wells. We did ask for an increase of 4 additional. I think we've got 8 or 9 right now that will be on the site. Those are going in this coming Monday, so we will see those. Let's see what else. They've applied for concrete batch plant. One thing that I will say about that, we did have the discussion, and there will be 4 wells for that temporary that will be capped and certified as capped when this project's done. They're smaller wells, but for the concrete batch plant, we thought the lesser of 2 evils was we didn't want to see Contractor with concrete trucks additional on US 12. A project of this size, it makes sense to have the concrete batch plant on site. It helps alleviate that traffic that we would see, slow traffic, I'll add. So that has been approved at the location. They have changed that to, per our request and per their own request, to have that more efficient. It's inside the site more, so that was done, and I believe that's going to be in the next couple weeks. So progress on that. We do get material testing reports from the contractor. They have an independent third-party testing firm that does that. We have access to see those. So far, I'll be honest, all this site has really seen is the mass grading, preparation of the base for one of the buildings and the substations. So that's ongoing. Let's see what else. And then, as part of every meeting with them, we have discussion on Citizens Advisory Committee was discussed. We have that prior to the meeting. And then we allow for time with Washington County Water Resources, Drain Commission, Soil Erosion, County Building Department, who will be heavily involved in the actual construction of the buildings and utilities, along with, we have a representative that is on every township project, inspected utilities to make sure they meet standards, the plans, and our details. We invite MDOT to speak, Eagle if they have a representative, and then the parties, township planner, township engineer, township attorney. So just in summary, that's how we go about to find out what's going on site. If there's any issues, we bring those up. One of the first things in the progress meeting is project safety or incidents that we have heard from the public or that we've seen, such as the mud tracking that had happened and the others that I've already discussed. So we have to answer any questions if they're specific. Maybe you've heard some. I can try best, or we'll get back and get that updated.
I think the plan was to open it up for public comment, and then we'll keep track of questions, and then you'll be able to respond at the end of public comment.
Okay. I sit up here then.
Okay. Citizens comments. Citizens comments.
We go to that. Before we go, just 1 minute, before we go to citizens comment, state police back there. While we're doing a little talk on the data center, I heard there was a bad crash on Michigan Ave today.
Yes, sir.
Was that a fatality?
It appears so, yes, sir.
But that was,
It's down by Lima Center Road.
yeah,
Michigan and Lima Center
Road.
area in Bridgewater.
It had nothing to do with the data, did it?
Not that I know of. I don't know the specifics of it, but not that I can tell right now.
Was it just one car?
That I don't know. They just cleared up the scene, actually. They just cleared up the scene, so the incident's been investigated still.
Okay, that's what I had heard. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's move on now back to citizens' comment.
Yep, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Wendy Albers. I'm from Augusta Township. I'm here in support of everyone. Augusta Township is also in its own fight against their data center. First, I'm here with a petition to get corporate money out of politics. It's to get on the ballot for everyone to vote in November. It would prevent people like DTE and consumers from contributing to political candidates that got us in this mess in the first place. Second, I strongly suggest this township enact a moratorium against any future data centers. You can do this now. It won't stop the current project, but it will stop future projects from coming into town. Second, Carlisle Wortman. I suggest that first of all, I came to a meeting probably back in the fall in October, and I think I heard correctly that you guys didn't have a new noise ordinance, right? That's just, it's crazy to me. And I do think that if you had stronger representation, your planning company should be helping your planning commission and think about things that are coming down the road. And if they've done their job in that, you might not be facing some of these issues that you had before. No offense against you,
Oh,
sir.
that's fine.
Yeah, because they're not protecting the township. You need, when you're thinking about this master plan, to think what your community you want to look like 20 years down the road. And you should ask whichever planning agency you're using to look at trends that are coming, that are being discussed across the country. Solar was one probably 10, 20 years ago. And we could have done things in our township as well to address what's coming there. Lastly, ADA. You have people here with a multitude of abilities. And I was in the parking lot at 6 o'clock. And there were people that were coming into this office well before this meeting started. You had time to set up microphones. I suggest that you do that from now on moving forward. Thank you.
I'm Kathy Tower on Case Road in Saline Township. So I had questions about the cement before I knew that this had been addressed. So I was wondering where all the concrete was coming from, and it sounds like they're producing it on site. I'm wondering where all the water for that is coming. If there are 250 truckloads of material coming in every day for 2 years, and you're making, concrete out of probably a lot of this when the project gets going, that's a lot of water. Is our aquifer going to be drained before this project even gets up and running? I have wells. My family, my mom and my brother, they live in Bridgewater Township, but very close to the data center also with livestock. We need water. I am concerned about how much water it's going to take to produce this concrete on site. And, in the consent agreement, I'm not a technical expert on any of this stuff, but it says it's used for bathrooms and sinks and toilets and landscaping and very minimal things. And now it's going to be used for 2 years to make concrete. That just doesn't seem like what they agreed to. And I have also heard that they have approached people with gravel pit ponds about purchasing water from them. From my understanding, gravel pit ponds come directly from the aquifer. So if water were to be taken out of that sounds like that would be a big problem. So, and then with the monitoring wells, I'm wondering, will we get some indication there's a problem ahead of time, or not until it's too late? And who is monitoring these?
I'm going to piggyback off of that, actually. Oh, no. Okay. I have questions about monitoring wells.
It'll be too late.
So you're saying Monday 8 to 9 wells are getting installed. So I'm wondering who's installing the wells and who's doing the monitoring. Are we getting a report right off the bat that is telling us what the water level is? And is that report going to be made public so we can all see where we're starting from? And then after that, how often are we checking the levels? And will we get reports on that we can be made public that we can see? There was also in the consent judgment a commissioning agent and inspections. I'm curious about who they are hiring to be the professional commissioning agency, who's going to be monitoring the construction, and how often are they monitoring it? Do we get a report? Who do they report to? Is that report public? Also, the Construction Advisory Committee, you guys mentioned it tonight. I'm just wondering, it sounds like they've already met, but how often do they plan to meet? Is this who we're supposed to go to with our questions, or is it still Tom? And then when they do meet, are they sharing info back to us from these meetings? How often? That's it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
You're going to have to really stand up.
My name is
Jeff Esching, 10904 Brown Road. As everyone would love to speak about event bonds, I'd like to bring that back into focus here for just a moment because, of course, they were first discussed back in February of last year, and just imagine if we taken that much time to discuss the significant community impacts of noise, light, and traffic of a giant data center. Well, perhaps we wouldn't be the poster child of what not to do for townships being bullied and intimidated. Now, moving on. Last township meeting, I understand there were some young ladies from the local FFA who attended the last planning commission meeting with some thoughtful questions, and they were dismissed by Chair Gary Lockhart. He looked several people in the face, supposedly, and said he was over it, that he didn't care about data centers anymore, didn't want to hear any more about that. So, as a former member of the FFA in my local area, I want to stand up for those young folks, and those are our future leaders. It's unacceptable. When youth engage respectfully in civic life, our leaders should welcome it, not shut it down. And if Mr. Lockhart wishes to disengage and be disrespectful on relevant community topics, I will not recommend his reappointment. Well, anyway, let's talk. It's time for action. We expect the officials here to at least start following the laws and ordinances and the will of the many over the few. Maybe then we can get past all these missed opportunities. Neglecting to enforce an immediate stay on that applies to all construction activity on the proposed data center site is a clear choice we can make on fixing that. And Michigan law MCL 125-3604 states that filing a ZBA appeal automatically stops any ongoing proceedings or actions related to the decision being appealed, including construction, until the appeal is resolved.
Hi, Emily McDonald, I live on Maple Road. I would like to read from page 13 of the Open Meetings Act Handbook prepared by Michigan Department of Attorney General Dean Nessa. A rule limiting the period of a public comment may not be applied in a manner that denies a person the right to address the public body, such as limiting all public comment to a half-hour period. At the last Planning Commission, Chair Gary Lockhart said, and I quote, "Public comments. We are going to have a 2-minute limit for talking and limit to a half-hour overall." Township Clerk Kelly Marion tonight also limited comment to a half-hour overall. Township Legal Counsel Fred Lucas was present both of these times and made no effort to stop what, in my opinion, is a blatant violation of the Open Meetings Act. Given the current circumstances in this township, I would strongly encourage the board to obtain knowledgeable and competent legal counsel to advise them in such important matters moving forward.
Good evening, my name is Beth Foley. I'm on Arcona Road in Saline Township. I would like to know, and residents deserve to know, who actually applied for the conditional rezoning permit representing RD Michigan Property 1 LLC. In the permit application, it's not even identified by a name, just a signature S, like a mystery S, on the application dated July 10th, 2025. This appears invalid. More information than this is required to receive a package from UPS, quite frankly, let alone an application for conditional rezoning for an entire township with so much at stake. Who, specifically, was the township dealing with? I would like to know a name. Probably can't tell me because likely it is a ghost company. And then, based on this seemingly bogus application, Related Digital was allowed to give presentations to our board. Related Digital was not the applicant and therefore should never have been allowed for our township board to petition for conditional rezoning. Speaking of conditional rezoning, I'd like to bring up the case of Jostock versus Mayfield Township. The Michigan Supreme Court held that a conditional rezoning is invalid under MCL 125.3405, parens 1, if the proposed use is not a permitted use.
either by right or after special approval, with the proposed zoning district. The court vacated the judgments of the lower courts and remanded the case back to the trial court for further proceedings to determine whether a dragway is a permitted use in the C2 zoning district. Similarly, what Michigan Property Owner 1 LLC offered as a condition on their application was the data center. At the time, they admitted our own town doesn't allow data centers, even in the I-1 zone. RD Michigan Property Owner 1 LLC said in their application, quote, "The use is so new and unique, there really is no zoning classification of property or master plan discussion in the township or any surrounding or nearby community that specifically addresses the use," end quote. What I have learned about zoning over these past 2 months is that when a specific use is not defined in one of the permitted uses, then it's prohibited. This can't be used as a bargaining chip in a conditional rezoning. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Grams. I live just over the township line in York Township, and I'm helping fight the Saline data center crap that's going on right now. So my message is for you. We can keep telling you how you break the law and making us do that labor for you, or you can do better. And I want to just encourage you, much of my life has been learned by making really bad mistakes, sometimes multiple times. It was a mistake with the ways that you believed DTE would fold, that this deal would run away as though that's the worst outcome. They repeatedly showed you who they were by lying and using false urgency, and we all see that much easier now in retrospect. So there are many concerns with this financial deal. I'm not sure if everyone's aware how Oracle's stock tanked just a couple hours ago because how fragile this house of cards crap is related to this deal. Their stock also tanked a month ago when their financial partner backed out, and they don't have another one yet. So the AI bubble and the fragility of this is not something that I'm making up, and there are people on record who have spoken much better to it. It could all fall apart. And I want you to think about, you live in this township. Good luck selling your house, and if you want to have friends after this, maybe start thinking less about your agreed interests and more about legal pathways to join your residents and back away from the rush that this deal is under right now. You are the only people that could do better by us. So please think about that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shelley Smith. I live in Ypsilanti, and the Los Alamos meeting was already too packed out to attend tonight, so I drove over here. And the reason why I'm protesting both of these is because if you've worked in AI or in digital, you know that we've been slow-walked into accepting AI with little things like chatbots. Anybody love chatbots over humans? Anybody? No. Anybody ever been on an automated chat not going, I want a human, I want a human, I want a human, I want a human. And so here is what we know about this entire industry. They do not want to deal with humans. They don't care about humans. They're trying to separate humans. They're trying to take jobs from humans. They don't understand consent. If you say, get off my computer, get off my phone, there is no way to do it. That's what you're dedicating 500 acres and all these resources to, is to, like today, my experience was with AI was a news story about Grok, which just basically is like taking images, stealing images from people and making them into porn. It was trying to look for a job with AI, and you have to use an AI robot to change your resume, but you got to pay so that their AI robot can send you a letter saying thanks for the interview, which you never had. So it's not smart. It's not smart. It doesn't feed anyone. It hasn't solved any problems. Kids aren't happier, right? It's dedicating a ton of money to something that hasn't proven itself to be any good for humanity. There is no reason to, I mean, this whole freaking industry needs a break, needs to sit down and learn for about 10 years, because I've worked in it. And you know who loves it? No one. It's 10 guys changing money around. Okay.
Hi, my name's Josh LeBaron, but y'all know that already. The five of you on the wall here, you all from Related Digital, or you're in Energy? I'm not going to yell at you. You're related? Okay. So I have three questions, so I'm going to go fast. Bridgewater traffic on McCollum and Braun. There's been trucks. When confronted about it, they said Dan Wilkins gave them permission, which is hilarious because he's one of the people who sold us up to those 5 MBAs with no conscience over there. Is that Bridgewater's problem, or is that your problem because you guys have the consent of each other?
I'm going to say it's
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Second question. Jane Finkbeiner is on the Citizen Committee. She also is a relative of one of the land sellers. She works for a company that is hosting these guys over here in town. And, wait, what was the third thing? Tim, what's the third thing? I forgot. Okay. Third question because I'm around out of time.
The third thing might have been the process that they didn't follow when looking for a member of the public and then how they chose her. Just guessing.
Okay. Anyway, there's a huge conflict of interest. I know this is a process that's been extremely slimy from start to finish, but that feels like something that needs to be corrected. Last question. NDA. We've been told repeatedly you guys and landowners are under NDA. Fine. Can we see a copy of that? Even a blank copy of that?
Redacted. Why not? Redacted digital's copy of it.
Well, we can't see it. How do we know you're under an NDA? All right.
Because I
So,
can tell you there is no NDA.
there is no NDA. Okay. We'll have a lot of follow-up questions related to that next month. Thank you.
Evening. My name is Craig Swenson. I'm from Lodi Township, and I'm not here to talk about either any of the issues here. I'm here to talk about public service. I was a township trustee and a planning commissioner in Lodi for about 20 years. And last election, I decided that, I think I'd flown my missions. It was time for me to give it up. In part because I realized as I've gotten older, I'm not as perfect as I used to be, and I'm not as smart as I used to be. We had issues like a prayer hall that came in, residents were very upset, and we got sued under LUPA, the Federal Religious Land Use Act, and we didn't feel like it was a good idea to spend a lot of money fighting the fight we couldn't win, but other people certainly thought that was worth it. And so I'm not really here to say anything other than in a previous life I was a police officer. Back in a day when policing was a lot different, and that I'm tired. But people used to come up to me all the time and say, hey, thank you very much for your service. And so, again, without trying to be controversial here, I just wanted to come and say to you electeds on the board, those that were willing to stand up, put your name up, come up, and take what people here have the right to say to you, because they have the freedom of speech. You have to take that. But I just want you to know that there are also people out there that appreciate the fact that you were willing to do that, and you are trying to make the best decisions you can, even if they're imperfect, or you just make mistakes.
Hi, my name is Kelly Coleman. I live on Willow Road. I attended last week's Planning Commission meeting and heard that there was an appeal to the zoning board that had been in place since mid-late December regarding the data center site. Michigan Code 1.125.3604 was mentioned. In this code, it calls for work on the site to stop until matter is resolved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. No work stoppage has occurred as of today. So I started calling and emailing listed members on the Zoning Board of Appeals listed on their website, trying to find out who was responsible for this. I started out with Tom Hammond, and Tom Hammond is our administrator, and I asked him who was responsible, and he said that Mike Auerbach is now the administrator for that particular piece of the project. And Tim Melodek was our chair. The website had the number on for Tim Melodek. You gave me the number for the previous chair, who I went and disturbed and said he hadn't been on there for 2 years. So the number was wrong. Mike Auerbach, thank you for emailing me back, stated that he only advises, but he is under the direction of the legal team only. Jennifer Zink stated that it has been turned over to the lawyer David Landry. James Laramie, thank you for responding again, stated that he had not heard the matter was coming to the Zoning Board of Appeals. He is on, that they don't deal with many issues like that because the board and the planning commission reduced their power years ago. Others did not respond at all. So what does the current Zoning Board of Appeals actually exist for if they don't have the power to help us in this matter? Still don't know who's responsible for enforcing the Michigan codes. One clear thing is that the township residents deserve to be informed of litigation and appeals that are brought forward to the board and the township. We deserve swift and knowledgeable action to occur that follows Michigan codes, laws, and statutes. We deserve to know who is responsible for enacting those codes. And what I did discover is that the township or elected official is making those decisions, but it has been handed over to lawyers that do not live here. Okay? I do want to thank all the browsing team of Top Table, Pass the Buck, and Code of Silence, my very favorite, not my top.
Catherine Househalter, you know who I am. On December 17th, a motion was filed to intervene in the case with Saline Township and RD Michigan Property Owner 1 LLC. Many of you might be wondering why. The board was, in my opinion, falsely led to believe they had no choice but to give in. Our legal team disagrees and said they had every right and good reason to protect this community by saying no to this project and conditional rezoning. For one thing, it doesn't appear that our township actually has exclusionary zoning. I know you just confirmed to change the map, so that changes things a little bit. But we already had industrial uses in our A1 zone. They just had to be regulated to agriculture. That's still industrial use. Furthermore, we already had about 250 acres being used industrially by the gravel pit. To be considered exclusionary, it would have to be totally exclusionary. Why didn't our township's legal counsel argue this? I'd also like everyone to be aware that it seems RD Michigan Property Owner 1 LLC wasn't even registered with the state to do business legally in Michigan when they filed their application. Signed agreements with landowners or when they hired a lawyer to help them with their application. There are so many times when our township should have said no and shown them the door. So many times. All these points and more are made in the legal filing. I don't know, are you guys reading it? It's like, it's public. All these points and more are made in the legal filing, and on January 2nd, 2026, my attorneys and the township's and RD's attorneys agreed to file a motion together to the court asking to expedite the case. We're waiting to hear from the court. We hope the judge assigned will allow us this intervention so we can make all of these valid arguments that, in my opinion, our township attorneys failed to do. Thanks.
Ash Househalter, Willow Road. I would like to read quickly from Section 2.102, Zoning Map, and Article 2 of the Saline Township Zoning Ordinance. It states that the official zoning map shall be kept in the office of the township clerk and shall be the final authority as to the current zoning status of land, water areas, and structures in the township. So I want to thank the board for changing that to update the recent changes to industrial. What that does, so everybody is aware, opens us up for a referendum where the citizens get to vote to overturn that zoning. So thank you for changing that. The consent judgment is silent on the referendum that the zoning ordinance controls, and it has to be because the board cannot bargain away the people's right to referendum. I want to thank Kate and Josh and Preston and others on the ZBA appeal. I think a lot of that brought things to light that were not correct in the township from the ZBA itself, the board, how that was changed due to this, amongst other things. So in my opinion, I would encourage the board to seek knowledgeable and competent legal counsel because there's been a lot of stuff brought to light, like zoning going back, what, 6, 7 years that hasn't been done properly. You guys should hire oh, never mind. Moving forward, hire legal, competent legal counsel, or knowledgeable and competent legal counsel for these matters. Thank you.
Brent Dahl, 6174 Willow. Number one, I was up to the monstrosity the other day. Jim was there that day. Jim didn't go around behind, but here's a couple of young men out going across Willie's wheat field, putting the stakes in the ground. So Willie asked him what's going on. Well, they were told they're going to put a line to the north. Willie said, I didn't sell this property. I didn't give you guys permission. So that's another thing. Digital does a shit like that, right? Okay, another thing. 2 miles from the site, I can hear the gosh darn tailgates banging, backup alarms, the sprockets on the cat tracks. You know, it's bullshit. Another thing, get with the DOT, there's a expansion joint out in front of Rose's house. It's knocking shit off the shelves in the house. Take care of it. And it's too bad that this monstrosity has turned our nice little township into a shit show. You people ought to be ashamed.
My name is Jared Richter. I live on 4948 Braun Road. And I just want you all to reflect on the fact that there are so many people inside of this room who have given you various different reasons to fight. And not only reasons to fight, but legal avenues in order to fight down. This is what could have happened if you guys had not gone into a closed session and listened to a legal counsel who is just trying to, make a buck. These are people that are invested and interested in everything that is happening around us, and these are people that are working full-time. They are people that have lives and everything that aren't done specifically for the people around here. They want to fight. They want to not do this. I don't want to do this. What I want to be doing right now is lounging on my ass because I have fatigue issues and I want to rest right now. I don't want to be fighting. Everybody around here doesn't want to be fighting, but they are, because they really believe that this is our territory, this is our land, this is where we live, and it is not where a bunch of other people that can come in and basically do nothing but use us for their own profit. Amen. They want to control our area here. They want to control us. They want to control everything about it and bully us into capitulating into whatever they want to do. It is disgusting. It is reprehensible. And quite frankly, every single person here that is a part of Related Digital should really reevaluate their lives. Amen. And reevaluate how they are living. Because this is insane and ridiculous.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Jim Bruno, Willow Road, Saline Township. There have been some articles recently in the paper, statements from board members as well as lawyer Fred Lucas, who appear to be portraying themselves as victims of circumstance to gain pity, sympathy, and evoke compassion for them. Some of the statements that they said, and one of them is probably the most laughable, was that there was a clerical error in the meeting minutes that make it appear as though the consent judgment was done in a closed session. Another one was that there was nothing we could do. Well, there was plenty you could have done. like invoking a moratorium like so many municipalities near us have done. Northville, Howell, Saline City's going to do one, Bridgewater Township, Lodi, just to name a few. You could have done a survey of the citizens to gauge support for fighting the lawsuit. You could have had better procedures in place and followed them and not fallen for the forced timeline of Related Digital and scheduled all the special meetings for their benefit. One of the things you didn't follow was the township zoning ordinance. It says directly in there, section 1204A, that conditional zoning is prohibited, but you did it anyways. Was that a clerical error also? On August 20th, there was a special meeting regarding the data center. I was there, and I personally spoke. I was cut off by Gary Lookhart, so I remember this very well. And there was at least 2 other people that spoke. Yet in the minutes, it says, no citizen comments. Was this just a clerical error? And as far as the Riverside Lane situation goes, the only reason they voted to rezone this now was it was brought to their attention in the ZBA appeal. Otherwise, I guess they could just say that was another clerical error years from now when another issue arises. That was a short 2 minutes. You gotta read
You gotta give people more time.
2 minutes. 2 minutes isn't enough. I gotta find where I was. All right, I'm taking here 2 minutes. The other thing is the only reason you've rezoned the RD site was because of the court contacted you. Is that what you said earlier? Well, I've been saying for months in this very room that the township needs to rezone the data center site. But every time I brought it up, Fred Lucas says, no, it's covered in the consent judgment, and we don't have to do that. Yeah, months. Yeah, months. Is that just another clerical error, Brett? All these missteps can't be attributed to clerical error. In my opinion, there's a general lack of knowledge and apathy from our representatives who seem uninformed and unprepared, whether through unconscious or conscious incompetence. Additionally, it seems as though there are no processes or checks and balances in place, and the lack of accountability is appalling. I would like you to replace Fred Lucas as legal counsel because, in my opinion, he doesn't seem to have our best interests at heart, and replace Carlisle Wortman, who, in my opinion, should have had the foresight to update the map so that we wouldn't have ended up in this position in the first place. Finally, if any of the board or the planning commission members feel the same way, I request them to step down and open up the position for someone who's willing to fight for us.
That mean you want to be on the board?
Here. My name is Clara Ganun. I live in Milan, and I am doing my best to try to show up to as many as these township meetings as I can. I went to the one in York Township last night regarding the data center, and the reason for that is that I love Michigan. I love this state, I love these people here, and I love the nature. And that's why I'm stunned that this data center in Saline, which has a footprint almost 2 times the size of Detroit Metro Airport, I'm so just stunned that there was such a lack of thought and planning and care that has gone into this, what has turned out to be a horrible deal. And I want Michigan to stay beautiful for generations to come. I urge you to make a brave decision to change your minds and make better decisions. Recently there was a class action lawsuit filed against Oracle. Bondholders claim that they purchased $18 billion of notes and bonds in September based on misleading offering documents. A lot of people have been bamboozled by these big tech companies, and it sucks. And it happens, and it's not too late to make better decisions. Thank you.
Stop supporting yourself.
also have time left that I'm going to use. So it's okay. Do you want to go? There, you go.
Mainly for you, Dan, on top of Jane renting and the family ties, because you're in charge of the citizen committee, right? No?
I'm sorry.
The citizen committee about the data center?
I'm on.
Okay. I'm just talking about Jane's conflict of interest, being the renting to Related Digital, the family ties, and the third thing is she gave prepared statements on both the Eagle hearing and the MPSC hearing.
Good point.
I don't know if that's illegal, but it's real gross. Thank you.
Once again, Sarah Brabs, I just wanted to add to my comments, speaking of gross, slimy shit that pisses me off, Fred Lucas, you could at least look like you care. Give us attention, give us your eyes. As someone who trains people and makes a lot of money, showing you how to at least fake it like you care, you are failing. So I really hope you take note of this. That's not acceptable. Oh.
I didn't use all my time either, I don't remember it all well enough. Battery storage, solar, PUD, data center, all at the fault of Carlisle Wortman for not putting in proper ordinances and zoning for your township. They could have protected this township more. The time to replace them is now. I urge you to do it.
I think we're done.
You can't stop public comment.
I mean, or unless you want to get sued again.
We'll let you know when we're done.
I have one thing, but it's not related to the data center, so I'm not trying to
It's okay.
change anything.
It's okay.
Please say it. No, it's just related to the solar farm. I had some, it was Washtenaw Solar. I had some people that were concerned about the eagles in the area that I spoke with, so I just kind of, it's more of like a public service announcement. If you're kind of in that area where it's going, and you are concerned about the bald eagles or the golden eagles or their nests or anything like that, I need pictures of that so that it can be brought to the attention. So if it's the nests right now are actually the easiest to see because obviously the trees are bare, and you can do a simple Google search and see what an eagle nest looks like. So yeah, it would be eagle, like their nests, pictures of that, or if you're seeing eagles at all, those are some concerns that people have, but again, concerns me nothing if we don't have proof of it. So if you guys have that, Tom has my number. I give you permission to forward it to people. And I did want to thank the two ladies up here. I apologize, I don't know your names, but that did mention about appealing that. I just want to say thank you that you guys are doing that. I appreciate it. And that's kind of it. So if there's anything related to that, please just get in contact with me. Thank you.
I have a little bit more time left, and I'm just going to point out the fact that Related Digital had a third party come in to fill out the EGLE form, in which they said that there is absolutely no species, no wildlife, no anything inside the area in which they are building, which includes eagles, which, you know, bald eagles inside of this area, which there definitely are. The form that they had filled out for the EGLE.
You gotta speak up because that failed for a second.
The form that they had filled out for the EGLE hearing, that there's absolutely nothing over there whatsoever. So you don't need to worry about the eagles there because apparently they don't exist according to the forms that they had filled out. Thank you.
I love it. I had some time left too. I just want to reiterate, we now have a right to a referendum. The citizens of this township can vote to overturn that rezoning. If you have questions, come talk to anybody with a stylish shirt on after the meeting, and we can get that talk started. Thank you.
I also have a little time left, so I just want to mention, we have many ways that are sarcastic and effective that we are raising money to fight people, but if you have friends that have $10,000, $5,000, or $1,000, that would be much faster. So if you could just come see one of the people wearing a shirt, that would be great right after this. Thanks.
Anybody want to have one of these?
Jim, I don't care who else gets it, but I wanted to make sure, everybody, including the consulting folks, have a copy.
Okay, because I've got it. I get the sometimes. Not just if there's any left.
Yeah, get one to Fred, to Dan, and to Mike. And if everybody
got
else has
one?
one, then they can be distributed.
I got it.
You got one. You need
Unless
one?
it's brand new, I've seen the article.
See if there's any more citizens' comments before Dan answers the questions.
Well, we're done with the comments.
See, no, see if anybody has any.
Any more comments?
I got one. Fred, don't you have any kind of rebuttal against?
Oh, I'm letting public comment. I've got a lot of rebuttal, but
Are you going to say it though in front of these people?
Oh,
today?
if I am, I'll be more than happy.
Ronnie, we were waiting until after citizens' comments.
I'm waiting
and
for
then-
citizens to be done.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Okay, let's move on, Fred.
I thought,
All right.
somebody on the back.
First of all,
Wait a minute.
I think that's the people.
Anybody else? Any more comments? I didn't think so.
first of all, I wasn't disinterested. I was doing research while you were talking.
You should do that elsewhere.
Except I was responding to a particular question that was raised here tonight, and I was doing research. I have heard every comment for every meeting. I can recite back to you what the concerns are. I've done that throughout. Just because I'm not looking at you while you're talking, doesn't mean I'm not listening. Number one. Number two, as it relates to the comment about you can't limit the time limit, I would present the case of, I direct you to the case of Ligorsky versus Charter Township of Bridgeport, in which the Michigan Court of Appeals said that reasonable limitations on public comment are permitted. That's reported at 256 Mich. Ave. 297, which is a 2003 decision by the Michigan Supreme Court. It is still valid law.
Per person.
No, he gave a total 30-minute total and said that that was a permitted limitation on. You don't have to believe me. Look up the case law yourself. You can see what I'm looking at. Secondly, there was no conditional rezoning. In fact, this board voted it down. There was never a conditional rezoning on this property. What occurred was that we were sued and there was a settlement of a lawsuit. That did not amount to a conditional rezoning. It was not a conditional rezoning. So any comment and statement that this involved a conditional rezoning by the township is simply not true, because the board never approved the conditional rezoning. What was done was there was a consent judgment entered. That consent judgment was entered after the board consulted with its attorney that it had retained for representation in that litigation, which provided them the various options and what could occur. The board then voted in open meeting relative to the adoption of that consent judgment. Nothing was done in closed session. Closed session, a board is permitted to meet with its attorneys in closed session to discuss pending litigation. That's under the Michigan Open Meetings Act. If you look under section 13, I think it's subparagraph 8, talks about the right of a municipality, I may be wrong on the exact number, but talks about the right of a municipality to meet with its attorneys in closed session to discuss pending litigation. It may not vote in closed session, which this board did not do. The board voted in open session, and we have video evidence of that, which will be presented at the time of the court hearing. The question of referendum. You say that there's a right of referendum. A right of referendum does exist, and for those of you members who were present during the course of the proceedings that were occurring here, I think I mentioned that on a number of occasions, that if this board had voted to approve the rezoning, that a right of referendum would have existed at that point. This board voted to deny the conditional rezoning. What occurred was a consent judgment was entered, which is an order of the court. I am not aware of any right of referendum following an order of a court. And that's what this is an order of the court. So the bottom line is yes, I advised the board relative to the right to a referendum, but only if the board had voted to approve the rezoning. Then the citizens had 7 days to file a petition or to file a notice of intent for referendum, 30 days to collect signatures, and then to file it. Again, you may not, first of all, as I said, will you think that there's any benefit to settling from personal benefit? That's just garbage. If anything, I would have made far more money representing the township in this litigation than I would make at all. And number one, this board is getting no, and any comment that this board has any financial interest in this thing is just, that's libelous. Each one of them who's lived here, their families have been here for close to 100 years or more. All of them care more about this community than you can possibly imagine. None of these decisions were made easily or without, yes, I don't know how long you've been here, but they've been here a lot longer. And they care about their community. They're farmers. Every one of them are farmers up here, or no farmers, or have farmers in their family. And they care about this community desperately. So the decisions that they made were not the easy way out. They were presented advice from an attorney that they had that was retained, Mr. David Landry, who was one of the finest municipal attorneys in the state. He advised them as to what the potential outcomes were, and then they made the decision that they made. You say that they weren't between a rock and a hard place. They were. There were outcomes that could have been far worse for this community than the adoption of this consent judgment. This was a hard decision for them to make, and one that they made not with any great feeling of desire to do so. For you people to stand up here and call them having sold out, they were trying to protect the community. That's what they were trying to do. Protect the community in the best way they knew how, based upon the advice that they received from Mr. Landry and his analysis of the cases. That's what they were doing. Now you can sit here and smirk or whatever you want to do, but that's the bottom line. These people did not want a data center in this facility, and I know that that's not what they voted for. In fact, they voted against it. And yet, when presented with an analysis of the case from Mr. Landry, they determined that that was the best possible course of action that they could take at this time. Plain and simple. Now, any comment about that they were not advised of what their rights were or what could happen? They were advised, but they have to make the decision. They are the voting members of this public. No attorney votes for the board. They made the decision based upon the advice they received and the information they received from Mr. Landry, and they made the best decision that they thought was in their best interest of the community. So, again, I don't know what other questions were raised relative to a conditional, they don't have the right, there was no conditional use. There were no rezoning done by the board. The bottom line is this was a court decision. They were sued, they settled the case, and it's based upon that settlement. So there is no conditional rezoning. There is no right to referendum after a consent judgment is issued. Anything else? Did I miss?
There's not an NDA.
Pardon?
There's not an NDA.
And there's no NDA. There was never an NDA. We have never agreed with any of RD or anybody to hold anything to be secret or any secret discussions or any secret negotiations. Nothing. Everything was done in public.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If they don't want it and we don't want it, why are they still building? That is my question.
Why aren't we enforcing the construction stay? Nobody's answering that. Why?
Well, I can answer that because the construction stay doesn't apply. And they'll be getting because this is not a matter that can go to the ZBA. The ZBA has no jurisdiction over this. That's why. The ZBA has zero jurisdiction over this because it is a consent judgment and an order of the court. The ZBA is an administrative body. It is not a legislative body. The administrative body of the ZBA has no authority to make a determination relative to whether or not the actions of the board in adopting a consent judgment were appropriate or not appropriate. That is not their role, not their function. And there'll be a letter going out to the individuals that filed that. I received a copy of that from Mr. Landry today, and he'll be discussing that in his letter.
Can I make a comment, please?
Quick.
Sorry. So your comment about the, I'll just read this. So section 12.04A from the Township Zoning Ordinance says conditional zoning is prohibited. Their application out of the gate should have never been looked at per the ordinance for our township. Conditional rezoning, as authorized by Section 405 of the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, shall be prohibited in Saline Township. Any application for a rezoning amendment to official zoning map that includes proposed conditions or voluntary use or development limitations shall be returned to applicant without township review or consideration. That's what's in our ordinance. That was never been
It was
updated.
denied, and it was denied.
It was never updated. That is our
I'm
ordinance.
saying the zoning request was denied.
We should have never looked at the application, is
So
my
then
point.
we still would get.
It doesn't, no, they would have said, no, this is.
That
we
means
can't
that they had no
look
grounds
at
to
this.
sue. They had no grounds to
I'm
sue.
not gonna, stop.
Not to mention the fact that the court cannot deploy legislative power. It cannot say, go pass this bill or law in the township. It cannot. It can say to you, it's legally zoned this way. Our township has to legally rezone it.
And if you'd like, I can cite you the provision of the Michigan Zoning
Please
Enabling
do.
Act. I
I
will.
would love it on record.
I would more than happy to, but I have to pull up the Michigan Zoning Act.
We'll wait.
They can't take that part
Okay.
different. They can't take it away.
No, Dick, yeah, you answer.
Yeah, I can address some of these that pertain to what we've looked at so far for engineering review. If you have time right now, I'm good with that. Throughout the process, we have looked at the plans that have been submitted on behalf of the township, how typically for any subdivision, any cell tower years ago, gravel pits, anything that comes in, we review the engineering plans, the application, any of the information. It's got to meet state, federal, local requirements, EGLE requirements, MDOT requirements. There's numerous agencies that goes through. This particular project is also had plan review from the county building department, the county soil erosion, etc. So that's typically, I'm just explaining that for the process that is always in place at the township here, as in most communities. Some of the questions that were presented, I think we had 22 that I wrote down. I'm going to touch base on the ones that I'm knowledgeable about engineering-wise or particular to this plan. The concrete water usage. We have reached out to the client to give us more detail on the wells, the temporary wells that will be remaining for the 2 years of the project. Initial comments from them was there's 4 that will be on site. One is specifically for dust control, and we've got staff that will go out and visit. We've got staff that currently are part-time because it's grading. Once underground construction and other activities happen, as part of the site plan work, not the mass grading, which was a separate submittal, we'll have people out there checking those. The 4 wells, temporary. Dust control is one. Washing equipment is another. The concrete batch itself is one, and backup well. We've asked for a little more information on that. In initial talks, the concrete water, we've asked for an average, what is expected for concrete pours. I think the response was the largest day for concrete on site should be expected to be, and this is maximum day, 2,000 cubic yards. They're still looking at that. That may be lower, but that was at the time the maximum that would be required. Concrete water on that day was between 50 and 60,000. That is a max day. We have again asked for more information on that because I believe a couple of the wells have been smaller size proposed. The monitoring wells, our hydrogeologists, half of Fleece and Vandenbrink, who works with the township, we'll have a hydrogeologist out there the day that the monitoring wells begin next Monday. Of the 8 or 9 wells, those are not going to be done in one day. Those will take the course of what we understand is approximately 1 well a day or so. So look for 7 to 10 days on that. We will inspect the last well, and if there's anything that we see, we'll ask the contractor to address that. I heard a comment about water from gravel pits. That's the first I've heard of that. I don't, that's something that has not been proposed to us. I don't know if there's plans on that, but I would recommend that not be the case. That for one reason. Yes.
Once a well is installed, is it monitored immediately? Like your
We've asked for a mechanism where, like a house meter, you would have a meter on that, so we can tell. And I'm gonna, and one thing with that too, these temporary wells are one thing. The permanent wells, I want to just point out, so people have the knowledge on that. When the water plant, package plant, which is currently not fully designed, that'll be in the course of the next few months going for Eagle. That's a later part of the progress for this project, so that's not needed right now while grading is going on. But when that water treatment facility is done, that well that will feed for bathrooms, irrigation, and the items in the consent judgment, when that is in place, Eagle requires the operator, who is a licensed operator, to supply MOR, which is a monthly operating report that tells of all the issues, if they've had any repair issues, if they've had any things to take care of. That will also have a total amount of water used. We're going to have that as a check and balance for the consent agreement. Because it was supposed to be for the uses explained, and that's going to be our check on that usage.
The monitoring wells, and maybe I'm not understanding.
No.
I'm thinking it's monitoring the level of
it is,
aquifer.
yes.
So
we are going to.
Day one, when you drop a monitoring well, is it giving you the level?
They won't be daily. We're going to probably ask for those updates weekly. What are the levels been reading? We will have staff. We've got an environmental group that routinely does monitoring wells. They monitor PFAS, everything.
So we
Pardon?
have access to those reports?
I think it was some, and I'm just, forgive me, I don't like to have one-on-ones because it'll, but I do appreciate the questions. And I don't want to misspeak, but I think that on the website there will be some information, and likewise with the questions that develop. I think was our intent, to get those posted so that everybody can see what either the same question was asked or be knowledgeable of what's going on. Okay. So to your question, I don't want to get too involved in citizens' comments because so you guys can control that. I'm going to talk to the board, but I will answer. You had something else?
Yeah.
And then you guys decide.
I've got just a quick question for you.
It's up to you.
You said that they would use 2,000 cubic yards of, that's the amount of water?
No, that is the amount of concrete. So that's where the 50,000 gallons max day was 2,000. We're going to confirm that. We need to get that
They'll use
resubmitted.
4 or 5 times that.
We're getting into
Let's stop.
Ryan, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Don't you already have an 8-inch well?
That's going to be the
Because
final production well.
They're running street cleaning trucks. You got to get them out from someplace every day.
I don't know.
You already got
I will
them.
check into that, Ronnie.
So it's going to be.
They shouldn't be using the well that's out there. So that's unless that's.
They're hauling water.
Yeah, if they're hauling water or. I'm not gonna. I'll find that out.
I wonder how
We'll
big
get
the
it on the
4
website.
wells are.
I think they were 4-inch max. The concrete one may be larger, so we'll get that information posted. So, you guys.
So like the monitoring,
yeah, go ahead.
The monitoring was, there would be some kind of sensors in there, like if the water drops. I mean, it might, they got to establish a baseline, I guess, is what I'm saying. So like, time and stuff, are they going to allow for some usage for dry weather or things like that, or?
For the wells, there's one that has been requested for dust control. So that's where that one would be, where they would do any dust control, fill up a water truck and wear on the site. Or sometimes they use chloride too, but this is.
And these people that are going to monitor the wells, and are they with your firm, or because we were talking about another party coming in?
Yeah, we have
several probably
hydrogeologists. We've got a couple of them on staff that to at least start this, and then that's gonna be a board decision, that's not my decision. We'll talk about it, if there's a third party that wants, we'd welcome that. We do have duplication, I'm gonna say right now, we do have duplicate efforts, that the Related Digital pays all the cost for that, so it's not township, but the county and us, as far as your engineering consultant, will be inspecting all underground facilities before they're covered. So that's on the monitoring wells, on any of the water usage. If there's a third party independent, that's fine, but we will still continue to also assist on that until told otherwise. So.
Okay, so Fred said he's got your guys'
Yeah. It's section 202 of the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, subsection 5, I apologize. An amendment to conform a provision of the zoning ordinance to the decree of a competent court jurisdiction as to any specific land may be adopted by the legislative body and notice of the adopted amendment published without referring the amendment to any other board or agency provided for under this act. So,
Okay, what do we got left?
that's the answer.
It's the citizens, I mean.
Yeah, and the ones I wrote down that talked about the well. I guess I wanted more information because we routinely talk with MDOT. I heard something about an expansion joint that's an issue. I don't know what road. I'm assuming that's on.
That's 12.
On 12. Yeah. And I will say that the paving done late in the year, and that I've had talks with George Seif and Pascal at MDOT, Brighton TSC, who covers this area. The paving was done late in the year. The contractor may have to add patching through the winter, but that what's out there now is not a permanent pavement. That's going to be all tore up when the project is ready for final or maintained throughout. There's going to be permanent pavement cross section that's acceptable done at that time. So the joint itself, they can seal that, and I will advise MDOT that that's an issue. I will look at it as well, and we'll get that fixed. The other concern I had was striping was done late, and we've asked that the contractor look at temporary striping. That's an industry standard that's allowed, and at this point in time, people like PK Construction have closed their works for the year, so temporary strip tape, 2-foot sections are typically used, so we'll look at that as well. I would like to see that done if it hasn't been. The contractor was looking into it. And you guys, I see a question.
I think you covered it, Dan. The only other questions that came up, the advisory committee now is meeting bi-weekly. We talked about all of the updates that both Dan, myself, and Tom have shared. The hope is to post more of that in bullet points on the website, but it'll be everything we shared just now. And yes, Tom is the point of contact for concerns. We're going to put a form up. I know you're welcome to contact me with questions too. I know there's or any other.
Yeah, just get hold of me. I know, these guys have all been fielding a lot of questions and stuff there. I told my number the last time there, 734-323-2110. I won't answer. You can leave a message. I'll make note of it there. We're keeping a book on it there, the complaints, and we'll follow up on it. It will get attention brought to it.
I have a question.
We're about to wind down.
I just have a quick question, if that's okay. I'm just wondering, I think it's pretty clear that there is a lot of opposition to this from the residents because of valid concerns that this is going to ruin our livelihood for their corporate greed. So my question, Fred, and to the board is, what can we do? We want to stop this. We don't want this to proceed. So even if you don't answer that question today and you release a public statement, what more can residents do to fight to protect our water and our livelihood?
I think that this board can do. The bottom line is that the motion or deed is granted by the court, and that would be the only thing that could occur.
Do we need to reach out to Attorney Dana Nessel to try to ask for help on this?
You can ask her. I don't know what she can do. I really don't. These are private I don't know if she has any authority on that, but you're more than welcome to reach out to whoever you want. It's just that this board can't do anything at
They
this point.
have to be here. Like, why is it such a done deal when, like, it's been stated, like, we didn't want it, and we're all in here every month saying we don't want it. Like, why?
We just collateral damage.
Larry Ellison at $350 million. That's really all there is to it.
But Fred said the board doesn't want it either, so if none of us want it, fight it.
Okay, I got one more announcement here. There's a bunch of these Sun Times. I wish anybody that would be interested in reading on it would pick one up on the way out.
Yeah, I am.
Could I get a question for Dan?
I'd like to go back to the article
They'll be on the
incorporation if we could touch on this a little bit. It's the articles of incorporation we talked about. If Fred was, down there. If anybody had any questions.
Oh, fire. I think Fred was out of the room when.
You know, I think maybe you need to schedule a special meeting for the fire board. That merits a discussion in its own separate.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
You need some shading between
Can I share something? One thing I forgot to mention during the master plan update discussion, there is a survey up on the website. If you look at updates, there's a link to master plan update section. There's a survey, and the ask is to share your 3 priorities, either for the master plan update itself, what focus topics should the township look at, or what do you want to see as part of the process. The board's going to look at all that feedback, and of course, with limited time and resources, they're going to have to pick and choose priorities for the project. But the idea is that that's a venue to share your thoughts, and it also won't be the last opportunity for input. There'll be more throughout the master plan update. This is just kind of the first round to share ideas that you have.
Excuse me, Mike, when would you like that?
What's the deadline?
What's the deadline, Mike?
It's open. It's open for a month, but again, it'll all be discussed at the meeting on the 19th, February 19th, and we may extend it. There'll be more opportunities to share comments after that, even at that meeting itself.
It's February 17th. Or 19th?
The meeting's
6 o'clock.
yeah.
No, the deadline for comments was the 17th, I thought.
There's a date on there. It's open for about a month, but like I said, it won't be the last opportunity for comments.
One more quick question, Kathy. You've had
So
your hand up.
you said that they requested 4 additional wells. Who has the authority to tell them yes or no that they can have 4 additional wells? I mean, according to the consent, I mean, the way that was worded, it doesn't say anything about using water for construction or for washing vehicles. I mean, who gets to decide if they get 4 additional wells?
For monitoring wells is all they are.
No, not monitoring ones, the ones they monitor.
I'll explain that. I'm going to say that they haven't installed those yet, so it's the board is welcome to weigh in. But this project, I would rather, and this is my personal opinion. I'm going to leave it at that. That I would recommend that concrete production on site is a heck of a lot better than using US 12 to bring in concrete trucks. The amount that, and that's why we're asking for the information, the amount of water used will be checked against what the original production well, when that goes into effect, when this project is, before it's initiated with 2 years. If that's excessively over, I'm going to advise the township. So. We do not expect that water usage is going to be more than what the production well, when that's for the water plant. So
it'll be metered, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be metered, Ryan. Thank you. And we're going to have that data. So that data, when we get our weekly or bi-weekly reports on that, I'm going to provide that to the township after the applicant provides it to us, and we will post it.
And so the monitoring will know if it starts dropping before it gets.
And that too. And in summer months, it's going to naturally probably drop a little bit. That's just the nature of it.
You're gonna hold for a couple wet years. Keep it replenished.
Well, for them all the time. It's not popular. But, so,
Can I ask one question to Dan, quickly?
I'll write it down. So, yeah, please.
Maybe more of a concern, but just to play devil's advocate, groundwater is a pretty complex thing, and it's not well understood. Aquifers are, it's not super well understood, but there's been a heck of a lot of work gone on over there as far as site work and grading. From a scientific standpoint, I feel we should have gotten a baseline before the work was started, because now that that's happened, runoff has changed, everything's changed. I feel we don't have an accurate baseline on our monitoring wells, because now things are already underway. And I know you may say, well, that doesn't change groundwater, but aquifers are a tricky thing and they're not well understood. I have a hard time believing that grading several hundred acres does not change groundwater. That's all.
That's a good point.
I appreciate that, and I'm just going to leave it as we will look into that. And our hydrogeologists have done similar studies where they trace the groundwater. One I'm familiar with is the GM Proving Grounds, where there's a plume. That plume actually, I think, comes down as far as Ann Arbor, and that you can monitor how that activity is going. Usually it's years and years at a time as that water moves, and everybody's familiar with the Gelman, how that water has moved. So I'm going to just leave it. I will look into that and talk to our hydrogeologists. They've done studies before. They do piezometers. They can monitor that, but I'm not the expert on it. Our hydrogeologists are, so we will get some information.
Thank you.
In terms of the water, I want to make sure I touched on it earlier there. That Levi and I did drive the site. We dropped in unexpectedly on them, just as I think you should. And I did not see any excessive water usage at all. You can verify that with him. Anytime I do go up there, I'll probably take somebody with me always. And as far as the water being used for the sweeper trucks and stuff like that, I don't believe they have that much water capacity anyways. And
yeah, they must have a pump on there. Didn't they drill an 8-inch well to begin with? Must have a pump on
I don't know what the well size was behind that one Norton building when they were.
I'll get that, Ronnie, get that, so we can post that. I'll post that.
But there is, for that, that's the only thing I see them use the water for, but that was sweeper. None of that, no deep water, even none of that stuff.
Right, you're not washing no trucks. Yeah, yeah.
Entertain a motion to adjourn. At 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
I mean, you probably could.
Motion made, seconded.
Yep. Whatever you need.
We need a roll call.
We didn't use it.
All those in favor say aye. And again, fun times up here.